Hello everyone, thanks for stopping by. My name's Edshara, and today I'm going to be giving you 25 bookish facts about myself in order to help you guys get to know me a little bit better. I am not sure who the originator of this concept is, but I will do some research, and if I find out who it is, I will put their information in the description box below. So, number one, I used to have to read the last paragraph and the synopsis of a book before I could read the book. I don't know, I think I needed to know how things would end before I decided if I wanted to invest time in the book or not. So that was something I used to do without fail for every single novel that I read. I don't do it anymore because now I feel like if you do that it'd be too much of a spoiler, but before I had to do it for every single book. Number two, I read my first audiobook in 2016, and that's mostly due to Booktube. Before Booktube, I wasn't really interested in audiobooks, and I still am a little iffy with audiobooks, or I'm very picky, you can say, but I am trying to read more of those. Number three, I only started reading more than one fictional book at a time in 2016, again thanks to Booktube. I think before I was concerned that I wouldn't be able to handle being in more than one fictional world at a time, but now I actually realize that I prefer to read more than one book at a time, just in case a book that I'm reading I need to take a break from, or it's just not interesting me enough. I have something else that I can read. Number four, and before you get the pitchforks out, let me explain. I have never read Harry Potter. And this is mostly in part to two reasons. The first reason was when it first came out and became really, really popular, my mom told me I was not allowed to read it. And just due to some of the themes that she had heard were in the book, she told me I couldn't read it. And two, at the time, that wasn't really something that I was interested in reading. It just wasn't the genre that I was reading. So even though my mom told me that I couldn't read them, it didn't really bother me, because at that time it wasn't something that I was interested in. Number five, and this one's a little random, but after graduating high school, I spent a week just reading. I didn't watch TV, I didn't get on the computer, I didn't call anybody or talk on the phone or anything like that. I literally read book after book after book. Like, I'd read one book, and as soon as I was finished, I picked up another one. As soon as I was finished that one, picked up another one, and so forth and so on. And I only stopped to eat, sleep, and bathe. Number six, I started back reading middle grade books due to Booktube. I don't know, for some reason I fell into the trap that I was too old to read middle grade, which is really silly because two of my all-time favorite series are probably considered children's books, and that is Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry series by Mildred D. Taylor, and The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe series by C.S. Lewis. So, after watching a few booktubers talk about and gushing about middle grade books, I decided, you know what, forget what anybody has to say. I like what I like, and I'm going to read middle grade. And so far, some of my favorite books this year have been middle grade books. Number seven, I don't really have a favorite author. I don't know, I feel like to call someone a favorite author, that's a very prestigious award in my book. And I don't know, there's not one author that I've read so many of their works and loved the majority of them enough to call my favorite author. So as of right now, I don't have a favorite author. Number eight, I read my first ebook in its entirety in 2016. That is again due to Booktube. I had tried reading ebooks in the past, but I just couldn't really get into them because, I like to hold the book. But because of Booktube, I started accumulating so many more books that I wanted to read, and the library just didn't have physical copies of all of them. So it was either read the book in ebook form or spend a ton of money on books that you're not sure if you may or may not like. So I chose the cheaper route and I started reading ebooks, and now I really do enjoy reading an ebook. Number nine, I prefer to read series that are already completed or they're a couple of books in. That way I'm not that influenced by the hype, as well as that way I don't have to wait, because I like to binge read series. Number 10, and it doesn't matter if the series is already completed or if for some reason I, can't wait and I want to read the first book in a series before, any more books have come out, I do not read the preview in the back of the book. Just for the simple fact, if I can't get my hands on the next book right away, or if I have to wait because the next book hasn't even come out right away or hasn't come out yet, I don't want to read it and be excited and then again have to wait. Number 11, I do not like reading books out of order. Now thankfully this doesn't happen too much anymore since I have discovered Goodreads, but I know before Goodreads I had a problem with that. I'd pick up a book and it'd be book number 3 and I'd read it and only to realize that I read it out of order, and that would just really irritate me. Number 12. I'll try to find an example of this if I can, but I know I have seen it before, and that is I don't like a change in cover art midway through a series. Just keep it all the same until you get through the entire series and then change it. Number 13, my favorite genre is mystery. Number 14, I am very aware of time progression in a book. And what I mean by that is, if a character finds out on Monday that they have magical powers and then by Thursday they have outrun 20 people who wanted to kill them, learn how to use their magical powers, and save the world, that bothers me. And I can go into a book knowing, okay, this is fiction, this is a work of fiction, it's not real, but for some reason I just, that irritates me and I don't like it. And it won't keep me from reading a book, but I will be petty and dock a book a star if it's in there, and that's just me. Number 15, I have recently really been into sci-fi and fantasy novels lately, but I only started reading those genres of books a couple of years ago. Number 16, I hate grammatical errors in a book. And I understand, we are human, we make mistakes, but I feel like if you are doing a published work and you are sending it out to the masses, somebody needs to catch those errors. And I can handle 1 or 2, but if a book has 3 or 4, that really bothers me. And I've really noticed it in ebooks lately, and I don't know if maybe somebody just drops the ball or how that works, but it really irritates me and I can't stand it. Number 17, I don't usually like hyped books. And this even goes for movies. Honestly, I don't know, if something is getting a lot of love and a lot of attention, for some reason I will probably not like it. And that is one of the reasons why I try to distance myself from a really hyped book. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm having a hard time pinning down when exactly I want to read The Hate U Give, because I know it's a book that I really want to read. I know it's a book that has subject matter that really matters to me, but it's gotten so much hype and it's so talked about, and they're already, looking to make a movie about it. And so I want to make sure that whatever my opinion is, good or bad, it's my own opinion. Number 18, I only write in my Christian or my biblical based books. And I do have an example for you. So say for instance, this is Fervent by Priscilla Shirer. This is a book about prayer. And you can see, let's see if I can find a good page for you guys. Okay, here's one. I have the tab, but then I also have, I've written in the book. There's a couple of pages where I've highlighted and underlined. And I don't know, because I feel like, books like this are personal, because what I get out of it, you may not get out of it. And so I write a lot of my thoughts and my feelings about, what I'm reading and how it might pertain to my life at the moment in the margins and in the books. And I don't know, I guess you can kind of think of it like it's kind of like a journal, and I wouldn't share my journal with anybody. So I kind of feel like I might recommend this book, or I might tell somebody about this book, but I wouldn't necessarily lend them my copy because it is personal. So Whereas if it's a fictional book, I don't know, I guess I feel like a fictional book is more like a collector's item or something, and you shouldn't write in those, or, you know, highlight, you know, I'll put tabs in those, like the little post-it tabs or something like that, but I don't write in those. Number 19, I don't fold back the cover of books. I don't know why, but I cringe when I see people doing it. Like, you know, if they have a paperback and they fold it back, I don't like that. I don't like that. I just, you have to take care of the babies. Number 20, I don't dog ear pages. I will make exceptions perhaps in a book like this, but again, in my fictional books, I don't fold pages down. That's what bookmarks are for, or if you're in a pinch, receipts or scraps of paper. Number 21, the majority of my book collection was left to me. We knew a lady who, when she passed, she had no family, and I ended up getting her book collection. And number 22 is because of number 21, and that is the majority of my books are older. I have a lot of books that she had from her childhood, so I have older copies of The Wizard of Oz, I have older copies of The Secret Garden and books like that. And those are really fun because they have, you know, her handwriting in them where she wrote her name, and they have her little personalized book plates. So I really enjoy those. Number 23, I've only ever lent my books out to about 3 or 4 people, and that's because my books are one of my most prized possessions, and so I have very high standards into the care and maintenance of them, and it's just easier not to lend them out. And I think out of the 3 or 4 people that I lent my books out to, 2 of them, the books came out back in worse condition than they left me, and then 2 of them, they just held on to them for a while. They did eventually give them back, but they had them for like months and months after they finished reading them. So I don't lend my books out very often. Number 24, even though I find books to be an escape, if I'm in a funk, I have a tendency not to read. And that's mostly because I feel like either 1, I'm going to not be able to focus on the book, or 2, it's going to taint the book for me. And later on down the line, you know, I'm not going to want to read it. And number 25, there are several bookshelves in my house, but they are all full with books that are not mine. The majority of my books are stored away, and I feel like if I'm going to film in front of a bookshelf, I want it to be books that I care about or that mean something to me. And while there are books on those other bookshelves that I like and I have read, they're not a true representation of me. So I hope you enjoyed learning some new things about me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, guys, God bless. Bye.